Hello, this presentation will discuss cross-curricular approaches to teaching and learning in science and English. It will offer ways in which these two subjects complement one another and discuss how ICT can be used within this. My philosophy of teaching and learning is made up of approaches that I believe are important to have as a professional in the field of teaching. A good teacher is someone that encourages children to enjoy learning. Encouragement of learning is an essential part of teaching because learning is an important part of life, and therefore if children are not encouraged by the teacher, the child will not see the true potential of learning. Moving on. When children feel inspired by their teacher, they strive to do well and to be the best that they can be. Having such a positive influence in their lives gives children better life chances. I aspire to be a teacher who not only inspires but also motivates children. I feel that one teaching technique that could aid me in doing this is a cross-curricular approach to teaching and learning. Cross-curricular teaching involves a conscious effort to apply knowledge, principles and values to more than one academic discipline simultaneously. The disciplines may be related through a central theme, issue, problem, process, topic or experience. So, where did the idea of cross-curricular learning come from? It all began with the Plowden Report in 1967. The key finding of this report was that children's learning does not fit into neat subject categories. This later led to the Three Wise Men Report, which identified that when cross-curricular work was poorly planned, it ended in learning that was not deep and therefore was meaningless. The national curriculum was introduced in 1999 and it introduced individual programs of study for each subject within the curriculum. Later, Boyle and Bragg conducted a study in 2008. This study indicated that approaches to teaching differ in accordance with the schemes of work and strategies which have been prescribed by the government. Regardless of this, in 2009 the Rose Report stated that sometimes the most excellent teaching and learning takes place when a teacher creates a connection between subjects. Two subjects that work really well together are English and science. This is due to the fact that they are inextricably linked. If an individual child does not have personal literacy, then they can struggle to engage with scientific activities and concepts. This could also lead to a child becoming unable to explore literature, whether that may be fiction or non-fiction. The links between English and science go both ways. The subject of science can be used to develop literacy skills and understanding through the use of natural context, and English can be used to gain individual access to the excitement and challenges involved in the world of science. One real-life example of an English and science cross-curricular lesson is a Team Christmas-themed science lesson that I taught to a class of Year 3s, with the help of my fellow trainee teacher. We created a science experiment wherein the children had to try to save Christmas by stopping the Grinch from sliding down the mountain. If they didn't stop him, he would steal all the presents and Christmas would be ruined. The objective of the lesson was to plan and conduct a fair test. Together we planned the fair test, made our predictions, completed the test and recorded our results. The science part of the lesson was the fair test, and the English part of the lesson was articulating our ideas and recording our predictions and results. This was a fun and engaging lesson which the children enjoyed immensely. It was a good depiction of cross-curricular learning as to show how English skills would be used with the context of a scientific experiment. The advantages of cross-curricular learning are that children are able to apply aspects of learning from one subject into another. One subject provides a context for developing learning in another. Children who are interested in different topics are more likely to be engaged, as activities can be adapted so that all children can make good progress. Moreover, children's achievements can be given a great boost by looking across the curriculum for engrossing contexts. Learning can be accelerated by combining teacher efforts and relevant content. This opens up new gateways to knowledge. When a child is learning deeply, the whole of the student is engaged. In order to create an expert learner, teachers must aid children in applying their learning by creating things using their newly acquired knowledge. Cross-curricular learning maximizes coherence. makes information relevant, and shows children the many connections that there are in the content of the curriculum. However, there are also some disadvantages of cross-curricular learning. Cross-curricular approaches can lack the rigour pupils need to develop subject-specific knowledge. During cross-curricular education, subjects can seem to lose their individual identity, which can cause timetabling issues in terms of ensuring children are receiving adequate amounts of education in each subject area over the course of the school year. Many teachers may feel uncomfortable moving away from a curriculum that they have become so accustomed to. Furthermore, some teachers feel as though they lack the creativity required to plan and teach such lessons. One key element which discourages teachers from cross-curricular teaching is the possibility of a negative effect upon the children's behaviour in the classroom. Also, not all children will benefit from this teaching method, as every child reacts differently to the same style of teaching. Technology plays a significant role in educational, economic and social changes. It provides access to the world of information and offers collaborative opportunities and communication. There is more emphasis on the role of ICT as it is a new and engaging way for children to learn and be drawn in by different activities online rather than through worksheets. The advantages of using ICT to support children's learning are that it motivates and engages learners, as it is a different form of learning for children. It brings life to concepts and processes. This is also an advantage as it fosters inquiry within children and allows application of information. However, there are also many disadvantages of using ICT to support children's learning. In many cases, children and teachers need to learn new skills as many programs may be unfamiliar to them. This leads to having to continuously update one's skill set in order to keep up with technology. Connection problems are yet another disadvantage of using ICT to support lessons, as technology can be unreliable. A good example of ICT being used during an English and Science cross-curricular lesson is during the Christmas lesson, which was Grinch themed. A science experiment was conducted in order to explore fair testing. The lesson was based around the children needing to save Christmas by stopping the Grinch from sliding down the mountain. Otherwise, he would steal Christmas. The start of the lesson included the use of an interactive whiteboard to display a clip from the film Grinch. This clip showed the Grinch sliding down the mountain with the intention of stealing Christmas. This was an effective use of ICT as it engaged the children, ready for the lesson. Dialogic teaching involves using talk most effectively to carry out teaching and learning. This process involves ongoing talk between the teacher and students. Therefore, lessons are not simply a teacher presenting to the class. An example of dialogic teaching is an experiment that was done by Dowling in 2010. During this experiment, puppets were used in a science lesson by teachers to engage the children. Teachers spoke about the new skills and how the children's interest in science was stimulated. Learning conversations were modelled, and this helped to raise the confidence of some shy and shy children. It created a context for scientific vocabulary, and the children revealed their misconceptions by sharing their ideas. This activity helped to enhance the children's motivation and engagement. A different approach to teaching that can be used is the narrative approach. This can involve the use of drama, animation, and organising images for narratives or other spoken and written methods. An example of narrative teaching is when narrative stories are often used in lessons as they are more memorable than factual detail. Science and literacy can be put together to aid learning, and fictional stories can be utilised to engage children in the science curriculum. There are many benefits of cross-curricular activities between English and science, as there are boundless opportunities for embedding literacy across the curriculum. Deeper learning can also be achieved by consolidating teacher efforts and combining relevant content. Pooling teachers' talents maximises coherence, relevance, and connections among the differing content areas, as well as a deep learning experience which engages the whole student. On the other hand, there are also a few problems with cross-curricular activities between English and science, as cross-curricular approaches can lack the rigour pupils need to develop subject-specific skills. During cross-curricular education, subjects may lose their individual identity and cause timetabling issues in terms of ensuring that the children are receiving adequate amounts of education in each subject area. To conclude, marshalling content from different subjects helps children to better understand ideas about important matters. More opportunities are made available to children, and they can apply what they have learnt from the discrete teaching of subjects. This approach respects the integrity of each subject, whilst lessening the rigidity of the subject's boundaries. Furthermore, children and teachers are encouraged to think outside of the box.